Right, good morning, everybody, or should I say good afternoon? It's Steve here from Weather in Focus, and we're here to take a look at the weather for the UK for the next week. We're going to have a little peek into the early part of next week, so maybe we'll go up to 10 days. Let's see how it all plays out. Well, if you've been watching my forecast, I've been talking about changes on the way, and these changes are going to be in the form of a pressure pattern change. So we'll start with today. This is the chart from Ventusky. Notice these areas are green, low pressure. Things have been fairly showery of late, but things, as I've mentioned, are going to change. And watch this. So this is tomorrow, low pressure. There it is sitting over the UK, but by Wednesday, going, going, and then by Friday, gone. Look at that. High pressure just to the south of the UK, 1040 millibars. And what that means is that things will become drier. Now, these areas of high pressure, if you do watch my videos, I speak about them a lot. Pebbles in the stream, what that does, it diverts all of the existing storms far, far to the north, and sometimes they go to the south, a blocking area of high pressure. It's not wall-to-wall sunshine by any stretch of the imagination. High pressure in December is going to bring a lot of cloud with it and some moisture, especially if the source of the air is off the Atlantic. And this is where it'll be. There's going to be some notably high temperatures as well, and I will be coming on to those in just a moment as well. So that's the pressure pattern. Have a quick look at the temperature anomalies at the moment. Things have started to turn milder, especially across the parts of northwest Europe. Still very cold over in Scandinavia. They've been locked into the freezer now for something like 6 weeks. Exceptionally cold, but some milder air has started to encroach into Europe today. And I've gone over to Gotland in the Baltic, and I've noticed there just today that things have started just to warm up. If we run through the sequence for the last few days, it has been obviously, well, last few weeks has been quite snowy there, but this was 3 days ago. This was 2 days ago. This was yesterday, and this is today. Notice how that snow is thawing out. So less cold air is moving in, but things aren't going to change too quickly across Scandinavia. Anyway, we've spoken about the cold. Let's get back now to the weather situation. And what I'm going to do is we're going to take a look at the WX charts, and we are going to take a look at the pressure pattern for the next few days. Let's just push that out there. Thank you very much. So today is one of those better days. There's low pressure sitting towards the east of the UK, and there's low pressure out towards the west. We've got a very weak ridge of high pressure, and essentially dry day, just a few showers here and there. What will happen though, if we just run this sequence through the course of tonight, that low pressure in the Atlantic starts to push in, firstly across Ireland, but then across parts of Scotland and Wales and northern England. So that by tomorrow, a bit of a different day tomorrow, low pressure in control, as we've already seen. A lot of showers across the south, more persistent rain across the north, especially Scotland, especially towards the east, and a little bit of chillier air up there could result in some winteriness across the higher ground mountains. I would have thought above 500 metres. Right, we push this sequence through to Wednesday. That low pressure starts to push out the way, pushes down into the southern North Sea, into the Low Countries, and in its wake, it brings in a north or northeasterly flow. So a chillier day on Wednesday, it has to be said. Temperatures around about 5 to 7 degrees, drier towards the west. Doesn't last too long. That low pressure pushes out the way. A new area of low pressure towards Iceland starts to push its rain-bearing fronts into the west by the end of Wednesday. Not just rain, as you'll notice across the highlands, it will be preceded by a spell of sleet and wet snow. Shouldn't last too long. That front will push down throughout the course of Thursday across England and Wales to leave brighter weather in the north with sunshine and a few showers on the western coasts, whereas in the south, a rather cool and cloudy day, I think, on Thursday, with some patchy drizzle clearing out the way. Right, here comes the change. So by the time we reach Friday, high pressure starting to nose up from the southwest. Look at that, 1030 across the south of the UK. We've not seen that for several weeks, several months, I'm going to say. And as we've mentioned already, high pressure keeps things dry in the south, showery towards the north. Over the course of the weekend, things don't change too much. High pressure across the south keeps things dry. all the weather bearing fronts out way to the northwest of the UK. But it's worth mentioning, and I'll come on to the temperature anomalies in a moment, that this air is going to be very moisture laden. It's a long fetch southwesterly. It's going to be very mild. It will result in a lot of rain and drizzle, orographic rain and drizzle on those western upslopes of Scotland. Yeah, very mild. Don't be at all surprised to see temperatures across Scotland in the low teens, possibly as high as 16 degrees across the east of Scotland, perhaps the Aberdeen area, perhaps somewhere like Kinloss, where you're pulling a bit of a phone effect. So, yeah, something to keep an eye on for next weekend. Temperatures, particularly across the north of the UK, very mild indeed. And the scene is pretty much the same on Sunday. A few fronts across the far north of the UK, keeping most of us dry. Just a chance of a little bit of early mist and fog in the far south if that high pressure results in some slightly clearer skies and lighter breezes. Yeah, to all intents and purposes, it is a dry and quiet weekend, very mild for the north. Next week, things start to change again, so that high pressure starts to erode down into Europe. By Monday, we start to bring some Atlantic weather bearing fronts in. And then by around about Tuesday the 19th, they're all a long way off, what's that, 8 days away, it's looking like a more active weather system will push down from the northwest to bring a spell of more persistent rain, followed by some cooler weather with the return of potentially some night frosts before high pressure settles back down. So we've looked at the weather pattern. We'll now just take a quick look at those temperature anomalies for the course of the next week. So as we've seen today, very, very mild across Europe. That milder area is creeping in. It's milder across the south. Now, if we play this forward, these are anomalies. These aren't temperatures. So see this red here? That's indicative of temperatures 7 or 8 degrees above the seasonal average. Towards the north, see that as zero. That doesn't mean it's zero. It means it is bang on average. The deviation is zero for the time of year. It's quite a good exercise just for pointing out where the warmer and where the cooler air masses are. So that's today. This is Tuesday, so mild in the south, temperatures near normal in the north, a little bit suppressed, I think, under that rain tomorrow. On Wednesday, a cooler day for everyone across the UK. We've seen that's due to that northeasterly breeze, just for a time, just leaking some of that cooler air from Scandinavia down across the UK. On Thursdays, we've seen a new Atlantic weather front pushing down that drizzly stuff, but quite a cool day, especially in the southeast on Thursday, with the legacy of that drizzly rain and cloud trying to clear out the way. High pressure, that's when things start to change. Now, we've spoken about this long fetch southwesterly. By Friday, temperatures are around normal, but by Saturday, look at that, some really quite mild air now pumping into the western and north of the UK. And look at the fetch of this. This is a long way south, and this is the reason why temperatures are going to become very, very mild across many parts of Ireland and Scotland, and more notably Scandinavia. By the time we get to next Sunday, Scandinavia will be thawing out. They've not been above zero for several weeks, as I've mentioned. So, yeah, all very welcome, I would have thought, for those guys up there. I think that pretty much wraps things up. I think hope you found the forecast useful. Suffice to say, changes are on the way. Things are going to start to dry up. Things are going to become a lot milder across the north of the UK. I'll be back probably later on in the week with a bit of an update on that. But in the meantime, thanks for watching. All have a lovely day, lovely week. Ciao for now.